What better way to ring in the new year than with some horror? Let's face it, there seems to be a horror movie for every holiday. Heck, here in the States, we even have a slasher film for Memorial Day. Now you would figure that with the ball dropping to a preset timer and countless parties occurring around the world, that it is the perfect setting for a killer to lurk.
Going to commit murder at midnight.
However, there are not that many horror movies based on this holiday, and there are only a handful that are good. There have only been around 50 horror movies released about this holiday. The earliest dating back to 1921's The Phantom Carriage, which is a stunning horror classic about an alcoholic who is forced by the driver of the carriage to reflect back on his past mistakes. This Swedish film is one of the earliest films in the horror genre and boasts innovative special effects that influenced many of the films that followed in the genre around the world afterwards. Grab your party hat and horn, it's time to prepare for the ball to drop with these 5 hidden gem New Year's Eve horror movies you may never have,
or probably,
heard of.
Number 5. 2007's The Signal. Maya and Ben are very much in love, but she cannot quite find the courage to leave her awful husband, Louis. However, when a mysterious transmission starts turning people, including Louis, into murderous maniacs, the lovers are separated and go on the run to try and find each other before it is too late.
This movie seems to have drawn some influence from Stephen King's The Cell. I've heard about that book, I think a few years before this movie came out. And it's pretty brutal. It's almost like an anthology type of film. There's 3 stories following our 3 main characters that you follow their paths throughout this crazed madness outbreak, and then it all pulls back together at the end.
Yeah, you basically get the story from each of their perspectives.
There is gore in this film, so if you like gore, you'll get that in this. There's some comedy elements to it, but it's a pretty decent story. You know, kind of reminds me of a Tales of the Crypt episode.
Yeah. Number 4.
The Midnighters. On their way home from a New Year's Eve party, couple Jeff and Lindsay accidentally hit a man with their car on a back road. With no signal to call for help, and the man having already passed away, they put him in the back seat of their car and go home to avoid any consequences. But when they dig through his pockets and find that the man has a slip of paper with their address on it, they must try and figure out what his intent was with them, while the police track the debris from their accident back to their home and begin to ask questions.
I wasn't really sure what to think going into it. Based off the trailer, I thought it was kind of totally going to have a different ending than what it did.
Some of those films are good that way. It has lots of twists and turns.
Yeah, it completely surprises you.
Yeah, this one will have you thinking throughout the entire movie, and that's a good one.
Number 3. End of Days, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, follows former New York Police Department detective Jericho Kane as he saves a banker from an assassin, which leads him into the middle of a religious conflict. Jericho must protect an innocent young woman who is targeted by the church and evil forces while trying to make sense of his beliefs and reality.
After 20 years. That's right, after 20 years, I got her to watch it, and guess what? She liked it. Didn't want to watch it. I would recommend it every single year. But of course, we have the Pop 5, and we're looking for New Year's movies, and there's not that many good ones out there. We landed on this one, and she enjoyed it. Now, this movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, who plays Jericho, Robin Tunney from The Craft, who plays Christine York.
And then there's Gabriel Byrne as Satan, and Kevin Pollak as Bobby Chicago.
Gabriel plays an excellent villain. Of all the movies that we've seen with Satan in it, he's probably one of the best.
Oh yeah,
He
definitely.
is sinister, he is dark, he is menacing, he has presence.
Yeah.
His delivery is on point.
Oh yeah, yeah. He would definitely scare you if he was coming around the corner.
Kevin Pollak, he's been in tons and tons of movies. When you see him, it's like, oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I never, and it was funny because I was like, I think his name is Kevin something, so I did get his first name right, but I tend to always like forget who he is, but I'm like, what did I see him in? And you've seen him in a ton of things, trust me.
For you youngins that don't or weren't around for 1999, there was that panic towards the end of that century because computers weren't programmed to go past a certain date.
People just thought that like it was the end of days, literally. They thought that the world was going to come to an end over a date.
Now the best thing to come out of Y2K was Y2J, Chris Jericho coming over to WWE. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about this film and its action. It's horror. It's comedy.
Ah, fuck! Jesus!
You're bleeding.
Of course I'm bleeding! You fucking shocked me!
Stop being such a pussy.
Pussy, come on!
It's just a scratch.
It's everything. So this is definitely one that you want to check out.
Number 2.
Break. On a winter break in the Urals, a merry band of 20-something friends make their way to an old ski slope to have an unforgettable New Year's Eve celebration at the top of the mountain. The fun adventure soon turns into a nightmare when the cable car grinds to a halt over the abyss below them. Sub-zero temperatures, confinement, height and fear of a slow death creates conflict and further calamities as they fight for survival.
So I didn't know what to think of this one because I kind of, when I first like was looking at the trailer or what it was about, I was like, well, this has been done before.
If you've seen the movie Frozen,
Yeah.
not the Disney version,
No.
or recently the movie Fall, this takes those two premises and combines them together.
Yeah, so like Frozen, they're just literally on the ski lift.
Oh, the cable's cutting through my clothes! You got it?
In this one, they're actually in one of the, like the enclosed, whatever, I don't know what they call it, it's some kind of a gondola thing. I don't ski. So drop it in the comments. Let us know what it's called, because I don't know what it's called. I'm gonna go with gondola. So, I mean, obviously that's a difference, but it's also a similarity because they are like hanging hundreds of feet above the frozen ground, and it is, you know, sub-zero temperatures, and yeah, dark, not fun.
Yeah, this is Russian dubbed, but I would have loved to have seen this in the theater because of the heights. With Break, when they're hanging over the edge in certain instances, it's like, oh, gotta clutch my chest. That's a little bit too high for me.
I think it's going to give anyone pause. I think anyone's heart is going to kind of skip a beat. I think their stomach is going to lurch. I mean, I just think nobody wants to fall. Whether you're afraid of heights or not, you don't want to fall.
Yeah, and when you combine the cold, the dark, and the situation that they're in, people are naturally going to turn on each other. And that's what we get to see play out here.
Yeah, and they turn really quick in this movie.
Well, it's cold.
It is cold. It is
I'd be
cold.
grouchy if it was that cold.
Well, you know what? But they chose to do this. Like, what the hell is wrong with people? Why do they think this is fun? Number 1. Terror Train 1980. A group of pre-med fraternity students play a sinister prank on one of their more timid pledges, Kenny, causing him to be institutionalized as a result. A few years pass, and those involved with the prank are boarding a train to have a costume party and bring in the new year. Little do they know, a killer has snuck onto the train under one of their friends' masks and begins killing the passengers one by one.
This is featuring Jamie Lee Curtis during her Scream Queen phase with Prom Night and Halloween and The Fog. It's number 1 on the list for a reason. It still holds up today, even though they did a remake of it, which they didn't need to do. A lot of good suspense to it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a bunch of drunk college kids on a moving train. What could possibly go wrong?
Mm-hmm.
How about everything? Oh, it also has David Copperfield, the magician.
He comes off as a dick in the movie, and sometimes he gives me that dick at the persona in real life too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just that he's like shy. Maybe that's why he's a magician, right? Maybe because he doesn't like to talk to people. I don't know.
I think he just did it to get chicks.
That's probably true.
Anyway, this is our list for New Year's movies. What are you watching this New Year's? Are you watching any horror films? Are you watching something else? Are you watching that? I think there's like a romantic comedy New Year's Eve film. I don't know. Never seen it. Anyway.
Are you talking about the movie New Year's Eve?
Yes, that's the one. Let us know if you agree with our order. There are some films that are notably not here if you do follow horror films for New Year's, like New Year's Evil and Bloody New Year. Sorry, no, they're not as good as these 5. Maybe a distant 6 and 7 compared to a lot of the other New Year's movies that are out there.
I'm not even. They just wouldn't be on the list at all for me. I just thought they were just horrible.
And then there's some film from Australia about New Year's in it. That one was just way out there.
Yeah, I'll just choose to forget that we even put that one on.
And as always, don't forget it is the quest for 5,000 subscribers, where you can win this box of Strawberries and Scream cereal when we hit 5,000 subscribers. And if you've been commenting on videos as we go along, you have a chance to win. And there's other ways to do it.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
And until the next,
See ya.